Thank you for joining me on my masterclass. Now, today we're talking about 7 things that can make you a dollar millionaire by the time you're 40. Now, that's 7 things that can make you a dollar millionaire by the time you are 40. Now, full disclosure, I'm not teaching you what I don't know. I'm teaching you what my experience is, what my experiences are. Yes, by the time I was 40, I was a dollar millionaire. Now, let me explain this. It doesn't mean that I had $1 million in my account. You're not going to be a millionaire by having money in the bank, because money in the bank does not make you rich. Actually, it makes you poorer, because banks' interest rates are normally lower than the inflation rate. In fact, not normally, that's the way banks do business. So it has to be lower than the inflation rate. So you're losing money. So your money is going to be in assets. So if you look at the Forbes rich list, or if you look at Fortune's rich list, or Bloomberg, or whatever it is, when they are rating the richest people on earth, they don't rate them by monies that they have in their banks. And these people, really, they don't have monies in their banks, like someone like Elon Musk, for example, Jeff Bezos. No, they rate them based on their assets. So what I'm going to be teaching you right now are how to build up assets that will make you a dollar millionaire by the time you are 40. So it's going to be a accumulation of your assets, so your net worth. So if you take all the assets that you own and then you quantify them, the value of those assets should be at least $1 million by the time you're 40. Now, that's what I want to teach you. I'm not saying that it has to be like that for everybody. I don't want to put pressure on you and then you start saying, oh, you must look for money, you must look for money. Listen, life without $1 million at the age of 40 is still life, and you can enjoy it. So now, without further ado, how do you build a net worth of at least $1 million by the age of 40? You start early. Number one, you diversify your portfolio. You diversify your portfolio. So that's the thing. When you diversify your portfolio, that means it gives you a margin of safety. And without a margin of safety, a kind of safety net, you can easily be ruined. So you don't want to take all your monies, and you don't have to have like $50,000, $10,000. You can start little. I started, for, a very long time ago. I started with what I had. You start little, but then you put your money in a diversity of portfolios. So you put some of your money in stocks, some of your money in an ETF, some of your money in an S&P 500 index fund. You put some of your money in a mutual fund. You put some of your money in a gold ETF. Or you can put some of your money, nowadays, you can put some of your money in cryptocurrency. Or you can put some of your money in currency. So you're trading currencies, you're speculating. There are ways that you can do that, and I've thought about that on this channel. In fact, everything that I've mentioned, from shares to to the S&P 500, to mutual funds, to the gold ETF, to crypto, everything that I've just talked about, I've done a video on them on this channel. So if you want to know more, you watch these videos, but you want to diversify your portfolio, because here's the thing: if you put all your eggs in one basket, you could easily tank in fact, it could ruin you financially, because we are human beings. We're not God, so we have limited knowledge of the future. So there is safety in diversity. You don't have safety in just uniformity. So you just put all your eggs in one basket. So for instance, I'll give an example. Let's take crypto. Now, we just saw a crypto dip. Now, assuming all your portfolio was in crypto and then crypto just dipped, what's going to happen to you? That's why we see in the stock market, where you have the stock market crash, you see people coming out and then jumping from the windows, committing suicide. It's because they didn't diversify. So you want to diversify. That's the first thing you need to do. Now, what's the second thing that you need to do? The second thing that you need to do is that you need to be up to tomorrow, not just up to date in financial education. So you need to be up to tomorrow. Up to tomorrow. Look at that. Up to tomorrow, and not up to date in financial education. Now, what do I mean? You see, financial instruments, especially new financial instruments, and especially tech-based financial instruments, by the time the general public knows about them, it's already too late. Because then people who have actually gotten into it, the early comers, the early birds, and they've made a killing from it. So you need to be aware of cutting edge technology, cutting edge financial instruments. You need to be aware of things that are on the horizon, things that are coming. And the only way you can do this is to have financial education. So you want to be reading magazines like, Fortune. You want to be reading magazines like Forbes, like Bloomberg Financial. You want to be reading magazines like Inc. I don't know if you've heard of Inc. It's a very good magazine for up to tomorrow's information. So you want to be reading, Financial Times. You want to be reading things like that, because then those are the kinds of channel like the Harvard Business Review. Very important, the Harvard Business Review. Those are the kinds of media that talk about emerging financial instruments, emerging technologies. Now, a lot of what they write about, are going to end up not being successful. But then some of them will be successful, and then you have some common sense. You can read through, and then you have an idea. So I'll give you a very good example now. Talk about cryptocurrencies and NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Now, the general public is gradually beginning to know about them, but then the Harvard Business Review has been talking about them for over a decade. Ditto Inc. Ditto Fortune magazine, Ditto Bloomberg. So these magazines, and they're hard copy, and so because they're hard copy, they're not just online magazines. People nowadays a lot of people don't really want to do that. But because you want to make money, and because you want to have a net worth of about $1 million by the time you're 40, you want to do that. So you read about these things. All these media that I talked about, they were the first people to talk about cryptocurrencies and NFTs. And if you'd read about them and you bought, say, Bitcoin in 2013 when it was about $1, or you had bought Ethereum in 2015 when it was about 98 cents, right now, when they're talking about the dip, that, it's now $38,000, $37,000, $35,000, it won't matter to you because you bought it at $1 or you bought it at 98 cents. And that's how you now make compound interest, now accumulate wealth. So people who bought Bitcoin early, they got that information from having financial education from these magazines, these channels. You're not going to get your financial education from CNN. No. CNN, they don't have that. CNN is just a little above gossip. So you need industry-specific magazines, media, and that's what you need to do. Now, the third thing that you need to do is that before you hit 35, you need to buy a home, or you build a home. Now, this is not for those who don't want to have a net worth of $1 million by the time they are 40. So I don't want you to say, Pastor Reno is pressuring me. No, this is for specific people who want to have a net worth of at least $1 million by the time they are 40. So nowadays, you don't want to build a home and then just live. Single family residence. No, single family residence is so passe. It's so last decade. What you want to do is you want to build a home that has a component that you can rent. And then now, when I use the word rent, I'm not talking about regular rent. Regular rent is dead. Tenants are troublesome. They can be devious. They use the legal system against you. You don't want that. Short letting is the way to go. Short letting. So you want to go do short letting, whether you're going to do it through Airbnb or you're going to do it by yourself. Short letting is the way to go, and you make by far more money from short letting. Take a house in California, maybe for in the place where I live in the East Bay. Maybe you can get a rent from a tenant of about maybe $2,100 per month. With short letting, you can actually make that in a week, and this is no exaggeration. You can research it. Short letting, that's people who are coming for holidays, people who are coming for conferences, people who have maybe short things planned in that area. Short letting is the way to go. So before you're 35, you want to build a home or buy a home, but don't buy a single family residence. Buy a home that has a component for short letting. Now, if you happen already to have a home and it's a single family residence, that's okay. What you can do, you can convert your garage into a mini Airbnb, a mini short let. They do that a lot in California, and also in Europe. I went to Switzerland, they do that a lot. It's something that you can do, and then it's steady, good, clean money. Now, the fourth thing that we want to have side hustles. Now, the reason being is that, that adage, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. It's so true when it comes to side hustles. So many side hustles bring about major moolah. And then you now have a lot more money to even put in your portfolio, so that it just goes into compound interest, so that by the time you're 40, then you are a millionaire. So what do I talk about side hustles? You can, and there are a bunch of them that I've talked about on this channel. Have a YouTube page. You're on the YouTube channel now. You have a Quora account, so you're asking questions and you're earning money. You do online surveys. You do affiliate marketing. You do Amazon Kindle direct publishing. You do a number of things that and all these things that I've mentioned here. All of them, all these things that I've mentioned here, I've done videos on how you can do them and how you can do them profitably. So you want to have side hustles. You don't want to just rely on your job. You can probably get rich on your job, but you're not likely to, from your job alone, become a dollar millionaire by the time you are 40. So that's it. Now, the fifth one is this. You want to avoid vanity for your financial sanity. So look at that. I'm going to say it again. You want to avoid vanity for your financial sanity. What am I talking about? You don't have a home, but yet you're wearing enough jewelry that it can pay for down payment for a home. So you don't have a home, but your jewelry, you have enough jewelry that can pay for the down payment of a home. Or maybe you don't have like maybe a side hustle, and then you're always using the latest phones, and then the next year you get the latest ones because of vanity. You want to belong. You want to show people you're going broke trying to prove that you're rich. And so you got to quit that. You got to quit that. Yeah, people who are younger, they can be forgiven if they do that, although it's even wrong then, but not you. You have a goal. You want to have $1 million in net worth by the time you're 40. So you can't afford to do that. So forget about vanities, things that are vanity. Don't be like all these people that, want to go show people that they're wealthy. They spend a lot of their money on designer clothes, and the shoes, you look at the shoes, ridiculous shoes, but they're designers, the trousers. No, just dress simply. Dress simply, live simply, and then have that goal. It's so important. Now, that's the fifth one. Now, the sixth one is this, and it's so important. You have to look at your associations. Your associations, they affect your remuneration. Your association affects your remuneration. So you want to associate with people who have goals like you, people who have ambition, people who can help you on your way. There are two things. You've got rivalry and you've got competition. You've got rivalry and you've got competition. Unhealthy rivalry is not good, but rivalry is quite good, because if you go to the gym alone, you're not likely to do as good as somebody who goes to the gym with his body, because there's going to be rivalry. Your body does this, you want to do this. So the same thing, you want to associate with people who are going on the same trajectory as you are, because when you do that, these people, they will help you build up your willpower. They'll help you, when you see them, you want to keep going because of them. So now, what's the sixth thing? Now, it's very, very important. You see, continuous learning. You see, you do not have to be the smartest person. You do not have to be the most hardworking person. But what you need to do is that you need to be the person who is always continuously learning. Because we're living in a world where knowledge gets outdated very quickly. Knowledge. Some people say every 18 months. I actually think it's shorter than that. But we're living in a world of cutting edge, pushing the envelope. So knowledge gets outdated. So you need to always update your knowledge. When you update your knowledge, then you're going to outperform people who are smarter and who are harder working than you. And then what's the last thing? The last thing is consistency. So do all these things that I've told you, but do them consistently. Consistency is going to make you wealthier than any of these things on their own, because consistency is that you're taking all of them, putting them together, and then whether you feel good or you feel bad, you're consistent in doing them. So you have to understand, do not underestimate the big difference small things can make. Now, my name is Renan Mokri. If you've watched this and you have questions arising from this, you can put them in the comment section. My staff, they curate these comments, they bring them to me. I respond to all the comments. So if you see a response, you know it's from me. Now, you have to remember, I do not have a WhatsApp forum. I do not have a Gmail email address, I do not have a Telegram channel. Scammers have seen that my videos tend to go viral, and so they create fake YouTube profiles, and then they put my image on those profiles, and then they come to the comment section of my videos and they approach people telling them, I will help you, guideline, helpline, one-on-one info. They're scammers, they've scammed too many people and they've become suicidal. Don't be one of them. This is Bernard Mokri. Thanks again for watching and God bless you.